presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
With the 23rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU.
Rush throws downfield, looking for Thomas again. He's got it, and LSU strikes back quickly.
This dude's no slouch now. He put up huge numbers, and most of it deep down the field, a true vertical weapon.
Daniels fires downfield, and coming back to make the catch is Thomas. Makes a madness, and will score! A second lightning strike.
He's a guy that brings a skill set that we haven't necessarily had.
I believe Brian Thomas Jr. is very underrated. I think Brian Thomas Jr., if developed correctly, could turn out to be one of the receivers, one of the best receivers from this year's draft.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Moving that much closer to the NFL Draft, 8 days out now. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark. Tony, as we heard Tony Pauline remark there in the open, if he's coached properly, Brian Thomas Jr. could be one of the best receivers in this class. Let me ask you, was he coached properly or was he just too good to screw up?
It took him a while to realize he was on the team, it felt like.
It did, right?
It took at least 2/3 of the season before they really featured him. But
maybe the coaching was fine. The usage was a little off in the first half of the year.
Hard to tell. Why, as we've discussed, why did it take so long for them to see what they
should have been getting 10
him.
targets a game the whole year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and what dividends would that have paid? No one will know, and we can't go back and redo it. We can only do it going forward. Going into 2025, the plan being we're going to get him 10 to 12 looks a game.
Yeah, and let's do that. And they've said they're going to run the offense through him. Yesterday, Liam Cohen and James Gladstone speaking for the final time before the NFL draft to the assembled masses of Jaguar media, and was asked about the wide receivers and immediately went to Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown. No mention of Gabe Davis there, and obviously that's what they have on the roster now. He said, and he got to Brenton Strange after that, but he said, listing the receivers first, so obviously Strange, and then the backs catching the ball out of the backfield, but all that could change dramatically next week as far as the depth chart goes, depending on what the Jags do. I feel like, Tony, I gave two versions today. I tweeted them both out to spoil the surprise, but if you're listening today, I might run through both of them. I don't know which one I like better. I did an Ashton Genty mock, which I had not done for the Jags yet.
Yeah, I did I had him last week, I think.
I think you did, yeah. And then I did a Will Campbell version because in the second go-round, when I started again, Mason Graham actually went fourth. So it made it easy to go Will Campbell. And I was going to try one with an offensive lineman in there. I'd done Graham a couple of times lately. So we'll get into our 7-round mocks later on in the hour, and we invite you, as always, to submit yours. But I did tweet out the two versions that I'm debating between for today, and each have their pluses and minuses, I'm sure. And when I asked, would you like this one or that one better, many people replied, this one, and then sent their own, which is fine. That's what we like on Wednesday. Show us what you're thinking for the Jacksonville Jaguars because we're running short on time to get it done. Dylan Denmark, good morning.
Hey, Mike, good morning.
What's wrong with you today? Huh?
Man, I woke up at 3:30 dying of thirst, and your boy couldn't go back to sleep.
What?
I'm all over the place right
What'd you
now.
get to drink?
Oh, just some water.
That's
Ice,
it?
cold water.
Yeah?
Filtered water. Mm-hmm.
Is I don't know if does that have any impact? Like they say, I think like warm milk's easier to digest. They tell you to drink warm milk to go to sleep. Yeah.
News to me.
Yeah, like I don't. I like my milk ice cold, man. Don't get me wrong. I don't even like water room temperature. I like that ice cold too. So I don't know. So sorry about that, man. Did you get to bed early or something?
No, yeah, I went to bed at early for me, 11 o'clock, 11:30.
So you got
I just
4 hours in, good solid 4.
Dying of thirst. I feel like that's SpongeBob. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I know who SpongeBob is, but I don't know any of the SpongeBob memes. No, I've never watched a moment of SpongeBob, Tony.
I never watched it.
I've probably seen a moment as I flipped through channels, and SpongeBob was on at some point, but I don't think I've ever watched like a scene of a SpongeBob cartoon.
Yeah, it was just after me.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm aware of SpongeBob. I'm kind of in the same camp you are.
If you like SpongeBob, man, I could still quote you Magilla Gorilla, I'm sure, from back in the day.
Right.
And I doubt Dylan knows much about Magilla Gorilla.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There you go.
Kids even know Looney Tunes anymore.
They really don't. But,
Right.
hey, kids these days. So today, Tony Pauline, yes, talking draft. Yesterday, do we have Gladstone 10 handy there, Mr. Denmark? We do. Big thumbs up from the tired Dylan Denmark. He was asked yesterday, Tony, about how much do they think about this first pick setting the tone for the organization? Like, we go back, the organization, the tone was set by taking Tony Boselli first overall, which, by the way, I saw a piece today at SI. Pretty big endeavor they took on. I don't know if you saw this. The all-time mock draft. The greatest pick at every pick number in NFL history. I mean, every pick, like going deep into the thing. Boselli got an honorable mention, which is not bad considering LT is the number 2 pick, and he is the guy that represents the best pick ever, number 2 overall in the National Football League. But this pick will set the tone for the Cohen-Gladstone-Boselli administration. So, yesterday, James Gladstone was asked about that. Do you look at this as a tone setter, an organizational tone setter when you make this selection?
I think naturally that's absolutely where your mind goes. And we've had discussions on that subject a number of times. And certainly feel really good about the pot of players right now that we're discussing, and that would align with all the messages that we would like to send to the locker room, to our fan base, to the greater football landscape about who the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be moving forward.
Does that, first of all, I'm glad he didn't shy away from it, right? Like, this is not just, it's another pick and we've got 9 other picks. No, this is the first pick you'll ever make as a general manager. And it's a top 10 selection, top 5 at the moment, unless you move it around. Did him leaning into that tone, this selection is going to tell you about what kind of team we want to be. Does that give you any indication about who is in or out of the bucket at pick 5?
No, I think you could argue it however you want to see it.
Okay.
Right, with that kind of comment, it means it's definitely going Genty because he's the best talent, right, at that spot.
And we're a team that's going to run the ball when we want to run the ball.
It's definitely offensive line because we're going to run the ball when we want to run the ball, and we got to protect Trevor Lawrence. It's definitely
and we got to build through the trenches.
Right, like it's definitely whatever you want that picture to look like.
Is it definitely, does that sound like definitely Tet McMillan at
Probably
5?
not.
Right, and maybe that was not a strong consideration either. Like,
I think it's definitely basically the options we had in the poll this morning. I that's what that comment says to me. It's one of those directions, and they know which direction it is, and we're all still kind of guessing at where it might be.
Do you think they know which direction they're going to go? I
think that they got to be getting close.
They probably have a lean, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder if as they game it out. Right, and you do some mock drafts in the building, and people are selecting for all the different teams. If you do enough, you go, I like we've done. Man, really like Mason Graham there, but I keep getting this defensive tackle at 36 or this defensive tackle at 70, and maybe this is not the best use of resources.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting him specifically talking about getting all the scouts and everybody in the building together for the first time. What was that, last week? Where they were going through it. And I think that's mostly more about later in the draft and how you feel about different positions, different guys. Once you get into a deeper portion of the draft. But I think it's kind of like the Dak Prescott. If he had to play today, he could play. Like if the draft was today,
they could go ahead and operate.
Yeah, I think they know exactly what they expect it to look like when they're on the clock at 5 next Thursday night and have a good idea of what that is going to be for them.
Then again, if you and I wanted to draft for the Jags today, we could do it, right? I don't know, though, that I'm like 100% convinced exactly which path I would want to take. In fact, I did the 2 mocks today, so I'm a split brain. Of course, I'm also not an NFL general manager.
Right.
And I do like putting decisions off as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Keep all my options open. But we'll get to that comment that you talked about coming up. It's a long one, so we'll get to it as we get deeper into the hour. But you set it up well for today's question of the day. This is a pretty straightforward one, I feel. 5th overall pick comes down to these 4 options. Which would you prefer for the Jaguars? We don't know who goes at number 4 in this scenario, right? We assume Hunter's gone, Carter is gone. These are the options they're choosing between. Mason Graham is one of them. Jalen Walker, the edge rusher, stand-up linebacker, combo platter out of Georgia is another one. Best O-line available. I don't know. Maybe the Patriots take Membo. Maybe they take Campbell. Whomever that best O-line available. Maybe in your mind, if you want to presume they have all the offensive linemen available, you can do it any way you want. And then finally, Ashton Genty for that last spot. That leaves out Ted McMillan. It leaves out Tyler Warren, which, interestingly enough, on that front, I know you noticed because we talked about it before the show, Matt Miller, who we have a lot of respect for over at ESPN, posted right before the show this morning, was talking about what the Bears should do with their selection. And if they stand pat and Genty's gone, he'd like to see the Bears take Colston Loveland, the Michigan tight end.
Which you see him ahead in a lot of tight end rankings right now of Warren.
You do, but I think the feeling is he is more of that, guy who's going to give you great offensive output in terms of a pass catcher, and maybe at least my feeling was the reputation was not as rugged, not as physical as Tyler Warren may present, right? Well, according to Miller, he said better mover, better blocker, better route runner across the board than Tyler Warren. So Colston Loveland, he thinks the Bears should take if he's there at 10 so they could run 12 personnel with Cole Kmet and the 2 of them on the field. I mean, should we have Colston Loveland on our radar? We don't know, right? All this time, we're just assuming that Tyler Warren feels like the prototype of what the Jaguars are looking for in a tight end right now. Miller says the other guy's the better blocker. So who knows what the Jags feel on that front. But those tight ends are not options today. Graham, offensive line, Genty, Walker, those are the ones we're giving you. If the pick came down to one of those, can't move up, can't move back, you're sticking at 5, you're picking from that selection. Which way would you like to see the Jaguars go in that case? If you'd like to share your thoughts with us today on the air, 641-1010 will work for the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also hit us up in the YouTube virtual studio chat or on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Duval.
Yeah, baby. All right. Later this hour, we'll break down our 7-round mocks for you. We would love to see yours, so you can submit them at any of those pre-mentioned venue avenues of getting in contact with the show. Tony Pauline in hour number 2, 8 days out from the NFL draft. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy. Just starting the show. Great way to start your morning is with Dandy. Dandy's got a full line of breakfast items for you. I love their French toast. Who doesn't love French toast? But Danny's got a little something for everybody on the breakfast menu. That's right, including ham and bacon and peppered fried eggs and any number of delicious options. You just pop them in the microwave and you're ready to go in under 2 minutes. To swing into an area gate station, fill up the tank, and fill up your belly with some delicious goodness from the Dandy and Anytime Deli line. Not only, of course, breakfast, but a full line of sandwiches and subs. That's the backbone of the company that the Thompson family, a local family here in Jacksonville, started nearly 70 years ago, and they continue to thrive because they continue to put out the highest quality products made with the highest quality ingredients. Variety, already mentioned, full line of breakfast items, sandwiches and subs, protein packs, fruit cups, veggie trays, you name it. When you're hungry in Duval, folks, do what I do. Go out and make yours a dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. These guys don't pull any punches.
Screw you. You owe me. We're totally out of control. You're going to get yourself killed.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
How are you going to stop me?
They are the drill.
I can stop you.
Weekday mornings on 1010XL.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the 2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear, deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride Now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
Hacker here, and guess what my scale reads? 195 pounds. I'm shocked seeing that number, but it's there every month. The weight is staying off after dropping 122 pounds. Absolutely life-changing. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Listen to whatever you like, whenever you want.
I like this.
1010XL on demand. Ad-free shows after the live shows end. Shadowed by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services. Call 904-862-6769.
The team at Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to book your next round of golf with us. At Hidden Hills, we love the game, and we'll provide you with a memorable golf experience at one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true, and after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, and we had a live feed on the break. Tony disappeared. But you're pretty good on coming through that door right on time, my man. You know, this is not the drill, Tony. We like both hosts sitting down at the microphone at all times.
Yeah.
We do our best. I say both hosts. Dylan Denmark refers to himself as a host in the Jaguars Today Open. That's a tradition that goes back to E.T. Why not? You know what? Everyone's a host. You're a host. He's a host. I'll produce this program from now on. All right. So got a lot to get into. We'll reflect on just a little bit. I didn't think there was too much earth-shattering coming out of the press conference yesterday.
Not really.
This is kind of, we'll tell you a few methodology kind of things, overall thoughts, but they shouldn't, and they're not going to get specific about certain players and everything, because things can change. Obviously, you want to keep your draft plans to yourself, so there are a few things that we'll get into out of that. But if you want to get in now's a good time. 641-1010. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, we'll unveil our 7-round mock drafts for the week. We'll knock out one more next week. And I guess we'll probably do it on Thursday, right? We'll just unveil it. We can rip through it in just a few minutes, our final mock kind of thing, because next Wednesday will be the media mock draft. Everything locked up tight for that,
Yes,
Dylan?
sir. All 16 people locked in.
Ooh, baby.
So
Taylor Dahl, the highlight?
Yes, 11:04. The
Who's
Chicago
selecting
Bears.
for your Jacksonville Jaguars?
Mike DeRocco.
D-Rock. Frank got the pick right last year, and it was a good one. So we're tempting fate here.
Yeah, he texted me specifically. He goes, "What is it? What I would do, or the Jaguars would do?" I said the Jaguars. He's like, "All right."
Yeah. What is your best guess as to what the team would do, given the options that will present themselves at pick 5? So I honestly hope Hunter and Carter are off the board in the mock, at least.
I hope so.
I'd be surprised, right? Like if the Giants guy goes, give me Shedeur Sanders. I don't think it'll go that way. All right, we got Garrett and Murray Hill wants to bat leadoff today. So why not? 641-1010. Garrett, you're on Jaguars Today. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Excellent. What's up, man?
I think you may remember me. My moniker used to be Gator Gary.
Gator Gary.
I remember Gator Gary.
Wait a minute, Gator Gary. Now,
back in the day,
I know back in the day what happened on the very first radio remote that I ever did for another radio station, Gator Gary. So you're a legend in these parts. What can we do for you this morning, sir?
Okay, this is about all the mock draft. Most of the mock draft has the Jaguar taking Mason Graham from Michigan. I'm telling you, we don't need to go defense with this first pick.
No.
We need to go offense.
We need points, Garrett.
That's right. And right now, we need a running back. Because the 2 running backs we have right now do not do it. We need someone that's going to be a home run hitter that can change the game for us. Ashton Genty needs to be that pick. Back in the day, I said Fred Taylor was that pick. I was right. You see what Fred did for us. We need another Fred Taylor back, and that would be Ashton Genty.
Gary, you sure there's not a Gator back that you'd rather have, or you're gonna be okay settling for Genty here?
Ashton Genty.
All right. I'm just messing with you, man. Gary, hey, it's good to hear from you, bro. Hope you're doing well.
And in the future,
yes,
our quarterback will be a Gator.
Oh, we're gonna get DJ Lagway here.
DJ, 2 years from now. DJ.
All right. Hey, you know what? If we stink bad enough to draft him, because he's probably going high, Tone, I'll take him. If we're that bad, you know what? By that point, we'll all have given up. But I hope that's not the case, Garrett. Good to hear from you. That's the legendary Gator Gary, Dylan. You've heard stories about Gator Gary, haven't you?
I don't believe. Maybe I've heard it.
Oh, I think you have, and it involved hackers' toes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely involved hackers' toes back in the day.
All
so, it's
I
early.
didn't know that was him.
Gary used to call the station every Friday during football season and predict the Gators to win something like 70-5.
Yes. Yes. I got a prediction for the Gators. It's funny. Joe Coward and I used to do a show. I was the producer, and then we're kind of like co-hosts on a show down at St. Augustine years ago. This is 30 years ago, right? We're going back in the 90s. And we had a guy named Gary who'd call up, was a big Gator fan, and he'd always give us Gators 70, LSU 3. And we'd be like, Gary, what's happening to the Gator defense this week? How are they letting down so much? So anyway, Gator Gary, good to hear from you. He was an Ashton Genty guy, Tone. And, I represent that in one of my mocks today, that he's one of the options in the poll question. So hop on Twitter, Garrett, if you haven't already, and fire away. All right, we got a few thoughts from yesterday. Let's squeeze these in. Tony, you set this one up by talking about, bringing all the scouts in for the first time. Here's what Gladstone talked about and what the dynamic is like in the building with all these guys coming together with all their ideas at this moment.
Having our scouting staff on site for the first time this week, all being under the same roof, it was really cool. We got a chance to sit down yesterday and chop through a large chunk of the prospects and got a chance to share with them my impressions of day one with them. And so often, let's just set the stage. You get into a draft meeting and each person has a piece of paper or a notebook in front of them or their laptop, and they're referencing their reports that they've done on each of the prospects, looking down, reading those reports out loud. Something I appreciate more than anything is when an evaluator or a scout treats those moments like you're at the water cooler, like you're just having a normal conversation as opposed to this boardroom meeting. And our group inherently did that. They made it just a natural conversation, and they didn't just revert to their notes, but rather what they already knew in their minds because they were so prepared for that moment on their own. So that was a really cool moment for me to see our scouting staff walk in the door as prepared as I could have ever hoped for those initial conversations. I used the phrase being a fighter, not a fencer, right? Instead of having to put on armor, pick up a sword to fight, they simply just had to close their fist. They were ready for that moment, and I look forward to the rest of the conversations that we're going to have here over the next 9 days and see what else settles as the cement begins to harden.
I enjoy the James Gladstone metaphors, but I'd rather close my fist around that sword, personally. That's just me. So, look, these scouts, Tony, they're kind of auditioning for their jobs here, too, right? Most of these guys, they're holdovers. Once the draft comes and goes, we'll probably see some turnover on the staff. But, if they can show that they can put their vision in alignment with what Cohen and Gladstone are seeking, they get a chance to be here for a while.
Yeah, we'll see exactly, what that process, the end is going to look like. We'll see what the draft picks are. We won't really know how to feel about any of them until we get any of them on the field. It's kind of like the free agent class. We have ideas about how they're going to use and who's going to fit where with what they brought in free agency. But until they start playing football, how do you judge any of this, right? We'll react to whatever they're doing, but we won't be able to judge it for a year or two, realistically, what they're going to be doing here next week. So we'll see. I mean, certainly it makes sense. You're getting the guys in the building for the first time, and it's nice to hear that they are very natural in sharing whatever their ideas about these players are. That's good. Like, it can't hurt the process that it's that natural.
We got a few from Liam Cohen that we'll get to coming up probably maybe early in the second hour. Yesterday, talking about the wide receiver position, what the depth chart looks like right now behind Brian Thomas, what he's looking for in a wide receiver, the wide receivers available in this draft, and also defensive line, what he'd be looking for there. Those are a couple of positions the Jags are expected to target at some point in next week's NFL draft. Today, our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day is a pretty straightforward one for you. If the 5th overall pick in this year's draft came down to these 4 options, which would you prefer for the Jaguars? Is it Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan? Is it Georgia edge rusher Jalen Walker? Is it the best offensive lineman available? Or is it running back Ashton Jeanty? And we heard Garrett just stump for Jeanty on the text line. He's right. They can't pass on Jeanty. It's like 16 teams passing on Emmitt Smith or the approximate 45 picks before MJD or whatever the list was. Dane Brugler put out his 7-rounder today. It has Jeanty going to the Jaguars, said another texter on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Also, you have to tell us the Gator Gary story. Okay. Twist my arm. We will, but we got to hit a break here. So we'll get to that coming up. We'll also unveil our 7-round mock drafts for this week. It's Mock Draft Wednesday, of course, around these parts. One more to go. If you've got one, go drop a link for us or a screenshot over on social media so we can maybe share a few of those with the audience a little bit later on in the show. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors, simply the best window company in the business. Yes, I believe that because I had a great personal experience, but Consumer Reports will tell you that as well, as they rank Pella number one in all the major window categories. And right now, it's a great time to upgrade your home. 0% financing for 60 months. You get 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit Pella's showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
This is 1010XL.
The fans have rallied around us.
Home of the Jaguars fans.
It's really, really cool. It's a cool experience that I'll always remember that.
MOVING, Southside Kia is moving. Our moving sale is on right now. Help us clear new Kias out. Our current selection's got 200 plus Kias on the lot. Hurry to save big with us. New rides starting at just $20,000 bucks. Plus, bring your tax refund today. We'll double it up to $5K. MOVING, get to Southside Kia this spring. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com. Get your next ride at Southside. For complete details, call 904-325-9208.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
One man, one hammer. One place to hear it drop. Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Driven by Southside Kia. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com on 1010XL.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Get ready for the best prices ever on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets at Beard's Diamonds. For 7 days, April 21st through 27th, you will get up to 40% off. Yes, 40%. Locally owned Beard's Diamonds always beats the big corporate store prices. But next week, they're taking value to a whole new level. All diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets are on sale. Big time. Best prices ever. You save up to 40%. Don't miss this first time ever buying opportunity. Next week only, and only at Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beard's.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Direct from Broadway, MJ, the Tony Award-winning musical, is starting something all across America. Get tickets now to what the Washington Post calls a runaway hit. MJ the Musical, playing Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts April 22nd through 27th. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Cool boats, hot prices at the Jacksonville Spring Boat Show, April 25th, 26th, and 27th at Metropolitan Park. Fishing seminars, kids events, and more. Presented by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside. Tickets and info at boatjacks.com. That's boatjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, man, it's not evenly split. Like, people, you're in one of two camps. Either you think, man, I'd like to have the best running back in the draft and the best playmaker possible that's going to be available likely at 5 because Travis Hunter will likely be gone. Or ain't no way I'm taking a running back at 5. Like, I can go either. It depends on what they do with the other 9 picks, obviously, right? But there's a way to build it, I think, Tone. If you take Genty, if you think he's that special, and you want to say, hey, we think he's a Hall of Fame talent, and we're trying to stake our claim, this is how we want to draft, we're going to take the best pure talent out there. Now, I don't think it's the most likely scenario for him. And I'm not married to it, but I'm not going to be, there are very few picks that they could make there. We're just talking Dane Brugler in his 7-round mock today has the Jags going Genty. And what does he say what they should do if it were available to them?
He basically says that they ought to be looking for a corner there at the 5th spot. But with the write-up here, if the Jags had a chance at a high-level corner here, that's the direction they should go. But this draft is light at the top, and Genty is the best player available. He would give the Jags offense an immediate upgrade.
It's interesting to me that he thinks corner then is the most pressing need if there were that elite level player there. And he had him take a Trey Amos in the 2nd round and another corner late.
Yes.
Like, I could even get behind. All right, if you want to take corner at 36, if you're not sure about Jarian Jones, this is the Jags staff. We don't know which direction they're thinking with that. Is it more, hey, let's bring in a 4th-round guy and compete with him and then may the best man win, or is it we need to upgrade this spot? But
we talked about it yesterday. That's my preferred route with it. That doesn't mean that's the team's preferred route with it. Yeah.
Competitive guy, yeah.
Like, I believe in Jarian Jones. If they ask him to play on the outside, he'll be fine.
I think so, too, but they may not feel that. We just don't know how they feel about
I don't
that.
know how they feel. That's how I feel about it. It would certainly be an indication if they drafted a corner in the 2nd round of how they felt about it.
He went very light on the lines of scrimmage.
Running back Genty in the 1st round, Amos in the 2nd round, the 3rd round safety Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State.
I like him a bunch.
The 2nd, 3rd round pick Gunnar Helm, the tight end out of Texas. Then finally in the 4th round, defensive tackle Jay Toya out of UCLA, and then wide receiver Ty Felton out of Maryland there in the 4th round.
All right, we want to get to these 7-round mocks. If you're on the line, hang in there. We'll get to you in a minute. I promised you the quick Gator Gary story. I've told it a billion times. One of my all-time favorite radio Stories, first remote we did back at the other station, not 1460, the other one.
In the day.
Right, back in the day. Anyway, we're doing afternoon drive. Were you producing this show, Tom?
No.
You were not?
No, that's before I was working there.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Hacker was working with the show. I think Jason Matheny was producing it, right? So anyway, it was our first remote. We're at like Golden Diamonds Direct or something like that. It was something like that on, what was it? On Atlantic, if I'm not mistaken. And we had tickets to go see the Gators and the Canes play. Pair of tickets to give away. Oh, that's a very nice prize, right?
Yeah.
It was like a Friday remote. You can win these tickets, go to the game tomorrow in Gainesville. Fantastic. So we're just doing a regular show out there, and we said, okay, if you want these tickets, you have to show up at the remote, and the person that does the most outrageous thing will get the tickets. And so at one point, Gary shows up, and he says, Hacker, take off that shoe. And then, basically got him to take off his shoe and his sock. And long story short, Gary went to town on sucking on those toes.
Moment that lives in infamy. Yeah.
And sorry, never gonna forget that.
That's terrible.
Well, I agree. And so what's really terrible?
The punchline hadn't even come yet.
What's really terrible? He didn't win the tickets. Okay, he didn't win the tickets. Some dude had stopped by Walmart, bought a bikini, like a girl's bikini. Definitely, it was barely on him, and he came up showing up in a lady's bikini, and with a can of Mighty Dog dog food. I remember the brand. It was Mighty Dog because that's what we used to feed our dog back in the day. And he hopped up on the hood of a car, wasn't his, started barking like a dog, opened up that can of dog food and started lapping it right out of the can in the bikini. And he might have run out like in the middle of traffic too, and to show off his figure. But he ended up winning the tickets. He called us the next Monday. He's like, "Yeah, I sold them for $300." Hey, yeah, they're your tickets, man. Good for you. Yeah. And back in that's 20-something years ago. That was probably a nice little.
I was in their heyday too. Yeah, right. Is it a Tebow or right before?
Oh no, it's before Tebow. Way pre-Tebow.
Okay, so
man.
Chris Leak.
Pre-Chris Leak. Yeah, this is going back now. This is 20 plus 21 years, something like that.
It had to be around 2002-ish.
I think it was more like 2004-ish. Yeah. Something. Anyway, whatever it was, doesn't matter. That was the story. Gator Gary sucked those toes.
Somebody has to go home and cry.
And that was Gary. He realized I did that for nothing other than the pleasure that Hacker derived from it. So I don't know about this. Take my sock off. What are you doing? Oh, yeah. Anyway, so that's what went down 20 some odd years ago. Proud moment for all of us. All right, let's get to it. Ready for mock draft time? Dylan, give me some mock draft sound, please. What do we got for mock draft sound? I got to have something. There we go. All right, Denmark, why don't you unveil what you did? Let's just go right. First of all, no trades, no major trades, right?
Correct, no trades here.
I moved back like 2 spots, like in the 5th or 6th round or something tiny. Okay, so let's go around. Let's do our first round selection first. Should I do my Genty model or my Will Campbell model? What do you want? Tell me. I can do either one.
Since we're talking about Bruglers, go with the Genty.
Go with Genty. Yeah. Okay, I'll go with Genty. What do you got, Dylan, for first round?
I went Genty.
You did go Genty at number 5. All right, this will be good to see who did the better Genty mock. Tony, what'd you do at 5?
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham, okay. And now, again, I'm not necessarily trying to push the Genty narrative. I'm just on board with it if it happens. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I think it'd be fun. It'd be exciting to have a potential superstar in the backfield like we used to have.
It was funny. I went to Bono's last night for dinner, and someone was walking in, picking up their food, and I was sitting at the bar eating, and he was like, "Hey, Fat Tony, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why does Mike hate Mason Graham?" I was like, "He does."
I don't hate Mason Graham, bro. I don't hate Mason Graham. I'm just like, and I'm not saying this is a valid reason for them not to take Mason Graham. I'm just bored of opening every mock draft and seeing Mason Graham.
I get it.
That's all.
That's what I told him. I was like, he doesn't hate him. Like, I know he doesn't hate him.
He's a good player.
He's bored with doing it every time.
100% on board. Like, there are very few guys they could take at 5 among the ones that we're speculating on that I think would be the wrong move. And if they go with anything on the board today with today's question day, I'm going to be okay with it. All right, Dylan, You went Genty first. Go ahead and tell us what you did with your other 9 picks, please.
All right, I went 36 guard from Ohio State, Donovan Jackson. Then at third round, at number 70, I got Alfred Collins, the D tackle out of Texas.
Like it.
88, Billy Bowman, the safety out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
107, Terrence Ferguson, tight end from Oregon.
Love it.
Loading up on the offense, trying to. 126, the offensive tackle from UConn, Chase Lunt, L-U-N-D-T. 142, went with linebacker Cody Simon from Ohio State. 182, edge from Alabama, Q Robinson. 194, Cam Jackson, D tackle from Florida. And 221 with a corner, Mello Dotson from Kansas.
I got Mello in one of my versions today, not my Ashton Genty version. Did you feel like at the end of the draft, you're like, oh, man, I really didn't address this position
Receiver.
as well? Receiver.
I should have got receiver in like third or fourth round because I waited. Did I even take one? I didn't take one.
Okay,
yeah,
so you didn't address receiver.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt with Genty. Like, kind of puts you in a position where maybe you're not going to get exactly everything you want out of this. Tone, let's see what you were able to pull off with Mason Graham.
Yeah, Mason Graham at 5. I did try, since we've talked about it the last couple weeks, the idea of trading back into the first round. I did at least make an offer.
Okay.
When it got down to 30 and one of the wide receivers that I would still take there was still there. I made an offer.
What'd you offer him?
The 4th round pick.
Okay.
The exact price that I've talked about being comfortable doing. They said no. I was like, fine. Then they took the receiver at 30 that I was moving up there to get, which is fine. So at 36, I took safety Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. And the 3rd round, wide receiver Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. At 88, edge rusher Ashton Gillette out of Louisville. In the 4th round, linebacker Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina. Then at 126, cornerback Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. Then the 5th round, I took an offensive lineman that Dylan took in the 4th. Chase Lunt was still there at 142 out of UConn. Right tackle in college. Could wind up at guard the way they're talking about him, but who knows? In the 6th round, a 182 running back Rashard Smith out of SMU. Then nose tackle Cam Jackson at 194. And then in the 7th round, a 221 tight end Luke Lachey out of Iowa.
We're getting I feel like some of our favorites, right? We're even in these later round, like, oh, yeah, I've had him in a bunch of mocks.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's had him in a bunch of mocks, those kind of things. All right, I went Genty at 5. And you could say this is unrealistic, and probably is, but I had my choice of Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant at 36. And I took Walter Nolan. In hindsight, might have preferred Kenneth Grant, right? Just based on there are a few like pass rush specialist defensive tackles that you can get later on in the draft that, you know, if you want a rotational
it feels like there's a lot of those kinds of guys.
Right. I wrote and I took one of them, but having Nolan, I wondered if I could go back and swap it. But anyway, Genty and Nolan would be a terrible start. I wouldn't be upset about that at all. The one guy I did in both mocks was Jared Wilson at pick 70. He's like the guy I can't quit. And do I think the Jags are really going to do that? Probably not, you know, after signing Hainsey. But I took Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia. I got Jack Besh at 88. I got Elijah Arroyo at 107. So this was heavy on the skill positions early with Genty, Besh, and Arroyo. I took Savion Jones, the LSU edge rusher, at 128. That's the one I moved back like 2 spots.
Yep.
Picked up like 181, I think, in the deal, something like that. And so I took Noel Williams, the Cal corner, he's a big, long guy, can come in and compete with Jarian. Got him with the 5th round selection. Took my first linebacker, I think, in this whole process, Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame, and his specialty is coverage. He's a good coverage linebacker. He's a late guy. You're going to have to play special teams. But now, like, this is something we struggle with, linebackers who can cover well enough. So Holland Pierce, who is a massive offensive tackle out of Rutgers, like 6'8", 340, something like that. Developmental project for sure. Aeneas Peebles is one of those type defensive tackles I'm talking about. I got him in the 6th round out of Virginia Tech. And then the position I basically punted on was safety. I took Craig Woodson out of Cal with the final selection here. And, you know, again, those last 3 picks, man, are going to be, and as always, if you make the team, you've probably accomplished something at that point in time. So if you want to see the Will Campbell version, you can go to my Twitter account, Jared Wilson, the only guy that I got on both of these. And there you have it. Did I get a safety in that second one? Yeah, I did. I got Jalen Reed. Kind of like Jalen Reed out of Penn State a little bit. So anyway, submit your 7-round mocks if you've done one over at Pro Football Network. That's the easiest place to do one for absolutely free. Screenshot it, tweet it along to us. We'll take a look at a few of them at the back end of next hour. Let's get Tommy on board. Wants to talk about the potential of a former Jaguar who we discussed yesterday, maybe coming here. Tommy, you're on Jaguars Today. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for taking my call, guys.
You got it. What's up, man?
So, it popped up yesterday and with the given cap space that we have, and I don't think we're going to get Travis Hunter at this point from what it looks like. Do you think, I know Jalen's past at Duval was a little bit rough at times. Do you think that would be a good fit for us to get him back here? Because he is a talented player, and you think he would want to come back?
And
would it change our draft choices as well?
Sure. That's a lot of questions, and that's okay. We'll try to address all of them. Thank you for the call, Tommy. I can't speak for where Jalen would want to come back.
I do not know. My perspective on that is I don't see anything that would get in the way inside the building with Jalen. I don't think.
Do you think Shad Khan feels lied to by Jalen?
I don't know. And we've never heard Shad talk specifically about that. All the Shad stuff I heard with Jalen was he was ready to give him the extension whenever they gave him the go to give him the extension.
But Jalen apparently also swore he was going to play, and then showed up with the mysterious back injury, and then laughed about it after we got traded.
I don't know how inside the building anybody feels about any of that kind of stuff. So I can't speak for Shad Khan. My guess would be if the football people in the building told Shad Khan, this is where Jalen Ramsey's going to help us, Shad would say, okay. That's how I feel Shad would handle the football side of all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. But I will say this. We're looking at numbers from overthecap.com yesterday, and their numbers were what's going around seems way off, right? Because it seemed to indicate, because you can do a thing where you adjust for salary cap if you're adding players, like add another player from another team, here's what you'd be paying. And what they showed was that if the Jags added Jalen Ramsey, in fact, I'll do it right now and see if they've updated it, Jalen Ramsey, that the Jaguars would take on, I think, $6 million this year. Here we go. Yeah, cap number. $6 million is what it's showing. But he's got this option bonus that is like guaranteed that maybe this hasn't triggered yet, but everyone's saying now the number's $21 million. At $21 million, I don't know how good of a fit he is, because I don't know if Jalen Ramsey's the last piece that puts this team over the top.
Right.
Is he a football fit? Would he improve the secondary? Absolutely, he would. Right? As you said, Tony, moving to free safety,
if he's willing to
could be spectacular, or not. Or play corner opposite Tyson Campbell and have Jordan Lewis as your nickel and have Jarian Jones as your dime or your fourth linebacker and Monteric Brown as depth. That's a hell of on paper.
Yeah.
That's a potential hell of a secondary. And would that change their draft plans? Oh, absolutely. Now, I say change. Put it this way. It would preclude them from taking a corner early, I think, right? Because if you're going to bring in Ramsey, you're not doing it, going through all that hassle for like 1 year. This is not Aaron Rodgers begging Minnesota to go there to let's make 1 year run at things. So you'd have to think of him as a 2 or 3 year investment. And if that's the case, you got money tied up in Tyson, you got a young guy in Jari, you just signed Jordan Lewis. Maybe you spend a late pick on a corner in that scenario, but nothing before, say, the 5th round. I wouldn't think.
No.
So yeah, I think it would change. I think it'd be a good football fit. Me personally, it'd be distasteful to me, Tommy, for the reasons I've expressed. I think he quit on this team and laughed about it. And I'm sorry, get over it. Well, I don't have to get over it. I also don't have to run the team. So if they sign Jalen Ramsey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to root for Jalen Ramsey to make plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars because I'm trying to put the Jags first and foremost. I don't think there's much chance at all of them going down this road.
I think between all the things we just talked about and the way that it was discussed when the story broke, both sides are open to the deal, which means I think they're going to be working with Jalen to make it happen.
Correct.
So it has
Find
to be
a good landing spot.
Yeah, where Jalen wants to be. And I'm not saying that it being Jacksonville would be what would preclude him from wanting to be here. I think it's how competitive is the team that's asking about him?
Right. Well, it depends on who the other options are.
Right. And I think it would make all kinds of sense for somewhere like Baltimore or something like that to be in on the Detroit would make some sense. So, like, there are spots that are very competitive that could be reaching out about Jalen Ramsey if he's actually available. That would be more interesting for Jalen Ramsey than Jacksonville would be.
Yeah, now that's presuming they have the cap space to do it. I don't know everyone's particular cap situation at this point in time, but it's a fair question, good question. Me personally, I need to see for me, and he doesn't owe me anything, right? Jalen Ramsey doesn't owe me anything. I'm just talking about for me personally, I would feel a lot better if he apologized to all of Jacksonville and Jaguar fandom if it came to that. I think Jalen probably thinks he did nothing wrong, is my guess, and I don't agree with that. I think he quit on this football team and laughed about it. And, so for that reason, that's a no for me, but just strictly from a logical football standpoint, yes, I think he'd make the team better. Is it the best use of resources? Not sure that it is, particularly when they didn't even want to sign a veteran edge rusher to potentially block a guy that they take at any point in the draft from getting on the field, Tony. I don't know if they're going to want to sign a veteran corner for that kind of money or trade for one, and have to give up a draft pick to do it and potentially block some of the younger players like a Jarian Jones or whomever they draft. So I think it's very unlikely to happen. But would it improve the Jags on the field? I think it would, at least in the short term. But there are a lot of moves that would improve the team in the short term that you don't necessarily make. Our man Josh Carney, by the way, from the legendary Fantasy Forecast show, said, in his opinion, Genty has a better chance to become the best player in the league at his position than any other prospect that'll be there at 5. That's the reason it's viable to take him. That's fine. You could argue, though, is the best running back worth more than the 5th best defensive tackle or what? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. Saquon was pretty damn valuable last year. Let's just put it that way. Of course, a lot of moving parts.
On a team with a lot of stars.
I understand that. A lot of moving parts in that offensive line. All right, so we'll take a break here. We'll come back. Tony will take us around the league. We got Tony Pauline about 20 minutes away from Sports Kita talking draft with you. He had the Jags taking 2 defensive tackles in its 2-round mock last week. We'll get into that and more next hour on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. There's something special about radio play-by-play. Always has been. In Jacksonville, your place for play-by-play is 1010XL.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
The best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Charles.
6.
Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner.
That's a number?
Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today. Brought to you by Synovus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
All right, fellas, I got to brag a little. I'm down 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss and keeping it off.
That's cute, Matt. I'm down 110 pounds. That's like losing a Backstreet Boy.
Okay, so I'm the rookie here. I just started, but I'm already down 13 pounds, and let me tell you, it feels good to see the results already.
That's the thing, man. Awaken 180 works. No shots, no meds, no gimmicks, just real food, real support, and real results.
The support team is a game changer because we all know it's so easy to get distracted. But with Awaken 180, you get your own coach and a plan that works with your lifestyle.
And free support for life.
Plus, no gym workouts required, which is great because let's be honest, I wasn't running wind sprints either.
25, 40, even 110 pounds. If we all can do it, so can you. Call 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com.
That's 844-346-1800 or awaken180weightloss.com.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the
2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear, deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Clay Solar Installation Partners. The NFL draft is set to take place next Thursday, and with everyone wanting to know what the Jags will do with their 5th overall pick. Last year, the Jags took wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr., and the pick has shown his value this past season as Thomas finished as one of the top weapons on the offense.
Good, sound, solid players at a few different spots where there's also some ball-in-hand athletes. There's also a couple of guys that can win 50-50 balls. There's some really good football players all throughout this draft at the position. I wouldn't say it's maybe as sparkling as some other drafts, right? You know, there's a couple good ones up there, and feel good about some of the guys a little bit later on that we can contribute for us. Definitely a position that we'd be looking for.
Liam Cohen on the wide receiver. It's 72 degrees at 11:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Get up on it.
Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Hey, Dylan, is that one going to the archive with the Michael Beasley update?
Absolutely.
Man, Michael Beasley. Got to stand for Michael Beasley. If you know, you know, right? That's the way it is. Tori Edwards' last day at 1010XL.
That's what I hear.
That's what the legend is around these, the rumor around these hallways this morning. So, Tori, we hardly knew you. Those who've been around the Jags for a while, Dan Edwards, who was long time, what's his title, Tony? Like media relations, head of media relations for the
that
Jags.
sounds right.
For years and years and years. And Dan's Tori's dad. Dan used to run basically Radio Row at the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Every year. You know, we'd go there and we'd be like, oh, hey, we came all the way out to California to see a bunch of Jaguar staffers right here, handing us credentials and things like that. So we wish Tori the best. She's going to be working full-time with the J Fund now going forward. So there you have it. All right, we have got to get to a little Liam Cohen audio coming up here in a moment, Tone. But why don't we pause for a second and find out what's happening with the other 31 teams in the NFL?
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Travis Hunter told CBS Sports that none of the teams that he's talked to in the draft process have told him that he would have to choose a side of the ball to play. He did go on to say that if an NFL team told him he could only play one side or the other of the ball, that it would be game over for him, as in he's not playing football, saying, quote, "It's never playing football again because I've been doing it my whole life and I love being on the football field. I feel like I could dominate on each side of the ball, so I really enjoy doing it," end quote. The New York Giants are going to bring in Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe for a private workout. The Giants are also hosting Shedeur Sanders for a workout. Chicago corner Kyler Gordon signed the 3-year, $40 million deal that was announced over the weekend yesterday, which will make him the NFL's highest paid slot cornerback. And now retired left tackle Tyron Smith, who spent 13 of his 14 years with Dallas, signed a one-day contract yesterday to retire as a member of the Cowboys. He was selected by the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a member of the All-Decade team in the 2010s, was selected to 8 Pro Bowls, was a 5-time All-Pro, 2 of those 5 as a first-team member of the All-Pro team.
All right, thank you very much, sir. And again, I put those two competing mocks out side by side on Twitter. It continues to be about evenly split between the Genty and the Campbell start to the draft. JagFan15, who's a regular contributor here on social media, had an interesting one. I love the players he took. I just don't love the tripling down at wide receiver here. He went Will Campbell, okay? Emeka Egbuka, down with that. Alfred Collins. That's a wonderful start.
Love it.
Right? Then Besh at 88. Kyle Kennard at 107. Love that. Don't think Kennard will be there in the 4th round, but would love it. He got Jordan Hancock. He got Malachi Moore. He got Clay Webb. Takes another receiver out of Louisville in the 7th round. Special teamer. I don't care. But if you had Egbuka and Besh and De'Ami Brown and Parker Washington and Gabe Davis and, of course, Brian Thomas Jr., they're not even all active on game day. You know De'Ami, they just signed, is going to be. They just talked up Parker yesterday. We'll hear that comment in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily say, well, I don't care about Gabe Davis. Well, he's got a big salary cap figure to be wasting away as a game day inactive.
Yeah, he's not getting cut.
He can't.
Right.
With you're going to – it costs you more salary cap space to not have him than to have him.
No one's trading for him, and you can't cut him.
Right. It just seems like I like the players. I think it's just a double dipping at wide receiver like that in the first 4 picks is too much.
That's a lot
for my taste. If you had gone instead of you don't know Besh is going to be there. Besh probably won't be there at 88. I think that's where I took him. Probably won't be there, right?
Probably not.
But if you knew he was going to be there, would that change your mind about taking a high level corner at 36, Tone?
If
you could go high level like Trey Amos and Besh, getting him at 88, at 36 and 88, as opposed to Egbuka at 36 and whatever corner is there at 88. I think I'd rather go the corner and Besh at that point. That's how I'd feel about it.
That's tight for me.
Either way.
Love the fit of Egbuka here. I really do.
I like him too, but I love the fit of Besh as well. So I'd be happy with either one of those guys as the potential number 2. But either way, look, you can't know what's going to be available at 88.
And that's coming from me. I'm very comfortable if they don't draft a corner until the 5th round. I'm not worried about corner.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying if you knew that they were going to double dip at 36 and 88 at wide receiver, would you go, well, you know what? Even though I'm not high on corner, I'd rather just give me if I could get a guy who walks in the door as a starter at corner and still get Besh at 88. I think that's pretty good. Or maybe either way, I just think it's over use of resources in the wide receiver pool. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. But anyway, appreciate the mock. JagFan15 sends a bunch of them. We love that. around these parts. What do we want to do? Yeah, let's get to this Liam Cohen audio here, Dylan. Just a few thoughts here. Speaking of wide receiver, how do you feel this draft sets up at that position?
Yeah, I think there's some just good, sound, solid players at a few different spots where there's also some ball in hand athletes. There's also a couple of guys that can win 50-50 balls. There's some really good football players all throughout this draft at the position. I wouldn't say it's maybe as sparkling as some other drafts, right? Where you do see, there's a couple good ones up there, and we feel good about some of the guys a little bit later on that we can contribute for us. Definitely a position that we'd be looking for.
It a little bit later on, right? It feels like at least he's setting us up like, hey, you know what? We've got these other guys here. We don't feel as desperate maybe as the public perception is at wide receiver. And part of that is we just don't know if the value is going to line up early in this draft. Like if we're not looking at one at 5, and I know all these mocks have Egbuka or Luther Burden at 36, are they really going to be available at that spot in the draft? Don't know, know, so.
My guess would be they won't be.
I wouldn't think so.
Right.
My guess is they won't. And maybe Besh would be the next best available, or somebody's going to love, Higgins or any number of other guys.
That's more like the conversation talking about corner or Besh. For me, I'd be more comfortable with Besh at 36 than a corner. That's me.
I gotcha.
Right? But I don't know how they evaluate any of that.
Right. Well, and in the scenario, the hypothetical we were doing, you knew you were getting Besh at 88.
Yes.
The corner and that. Anyway, so as of this moment, how do you see this wide receiver depth chart behind Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah, I think, we're going to spread the ball out hopefully equally. That was the nice thing about being last year with Tampa, and we had to play a lot of different players in different personnel groupings. I think you look just naturally right now at Parker Washington and Diami Brown at the receiver positions, and then saying that, hey, Brenton Strange hopefully continues to ascend. How do we use our 2 running backs to be able to supplement some of that usage, right, and be able to get more people involved in the game, especially early on, so that defenses can't just cloud, BT and be all over him, that we do have other guys that can go win and be explosive with the ball in their hands and ultimately share that wealth and share that playmaking ability, so that once the ball is snapped for the beginning of the game, and then within the first quarter, if you haven't touched the ball, it's a hard one to continue to get through. So how do we get all of our playmakers a touch early on to get them going and get them involved in the game? And those guys that I just mentioned right now are guys that we're going to spotlight.
It reminded me of a little bit, if you go back into the 90s, Jordan's Bulls, who they always got the first couple of shots off with? Bill Cartwright. They'd always go to Cartwright first couple of times down the court because he played so much better if he got a touch or a shot early on. And that seems to be the philosophy of Liam Cohen. Let's get the ball in everyone's hands, get them involved, feeling in the offense. Parker Washington's interesting, Tone, because I think we feel the combination of Liam Cohen saying, I want to play Brian Thomas Jr. everywhere, including out of the slot, and the fact that Chris Godwin's a different kind of slot. He's a bigger player, and that they moved on from Christian Kirk. You can see Parker Washington being that one-for-one replacement for Kirk. Body size, style of play, and all that. And then I think we kind of pushed him more towards the back burner mentally, but he was the first one he went to here, even ahead of a guy they just signed in Diami Brown. So at least interesting at how they're looking at the wide receiver depth chart right now. Tony Pauline, Sportskeeda. Let's talk draft. That's straight ahead. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. One of the best kept secrets in the United States. Shh, let's keep it that way. Jacksonville, FLA, home of 1010XL. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
After letting Stetson get up to an early 2-1 lead on Florida in the first inning, the Gators put their foot on the gas for the rest of the evening, run ruling the Hatters 14-4 in the seventh, thanks to Bobby Bozer's 3-home run night. The Gators will be in Starksville this weekend to take on Mississippi State for their series Friday night at 8, Saturday at 8:30, and Sunday at 3, all games airing on 1010 a.m.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Wheeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple bill. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Gun charges, drug charges. I'm Attorney Malcolm Anthony, and I specialize in handling these types of felony cases. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Oh, yes. Gotta love it. 8 days out, and we've got Tony Pauline right now to talk NFL draft from sportskita.com. Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith here with you on 1010XL. Tony, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay, but, next year I'm going to send your producer some new CDs. I mean, there's no such thing as a bad Led Zeppelin song, but All of My Love was in my wedding video 2 decades ago. Got to send down some some Achilles last stand or, bring it on home, something like that.
Take some notes there, Dylan. Okay, Achilles last stand. What was it? Give it to us again. The ones you just
bring it on home.
Bring it on home. Okay, an Achilles last stand. So, Dylan, my man wants some deeper cuts, is what he wants around these parts. Tony, I don't know where to begin with you, and that's wonderful because we have a lot of great topics. But let's start with your 2-round mock draft from last week. Okay. The Jags take Mason Graham, not shocking. And sitting there for them at 36 is, I guess, the guy I would most closely compare to Mason Graham in terms of being a penetrating potential 3 technique. Walter Nolan is sitting there, and you double dip for the Jags with 2 defensive tackles. Give us your thoughts on this. How likely is it that Nolan could make it to the second round? Are they 2 similar type of players, or do you see them coexisting together if it were to fall that way?
Well, I don't know that Nolan's going to fall. I'm getting anywhere from mid-first round grades from Nolan to late first round, and that to late first round, early second, and that's just the way it fell on my board. And listen, I've been on your show for a number of years now, and your guy at Jacksonville's always looking for defensive tackles. So to get 2 good defensive tackles, and I think one will could feed off of each other in the sense that, Walter Nolan, he's more athletic than Mason Graham. He's more of a playmaker. But Graham is more polished, he's more focused, he's more intense, he's more a go guy, on every single snap. So I think they would complement each other quite well.
Is Mason Graham the best interior defensive lineman in this draft?
Hands down. I don't think it's even close. I think there is a big drop-off between he and either Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant or even Walter Nolan.
How come we don't?
I think the other thing. Let me just think is.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is he's the safest. He's the most polished. He is the one with the least amount of downside risk. So you could sit here and argue, well, Derek Harmon could potentially be a better player 2 or 3 years down the road. Kenneth Grant, I like a lot, could be the better pro. I've even made that argument. But you know what you're getting with Mason Graham, and you're getting a guy that's going to go 100 miles an hour every time you put him on the field.
Tony, most people have him ranked as, a top 5 overall player, or many do. Some have him ranked as the number 3 position player outside of quarterbacks. Why don't we see him mocked in the top 4 more frequently, along with Hunter and Carter?
Well, because I think, number one, you've got a quarterback going at the top of the draft.
Sure.
After that, Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are better prospects. Abdul Carter is the number 1 prospect on my board. And then number 4, you look at the Patriots. Yeah, he's higher rated than either of the offensive tackles, but they took Drake May last year. They got a screaming need at the left tackle spot. You want to ruin a young quarterback? Don't protect him. I mean, that's Jacksonville has had a bit of an issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's just such a screaming need at left tackle, and it's really not a deep position that the Patriots would take one of the tackles over Mason Graham.
Do you believe Ashton Genty is in play to New England at 4 or Jacksonville at 5?
There's been some speculation about that. I've not heard anything concrete. And, I don't know why it would be, especially in a draft that is so deep at the running back position. I like Genty. He's head and shoulders better than any running back prospect in this draft. But you're going to be able to get not just good running backs, but potentially starting running backs and feature running backs later on in the second, third, potentially even the 4th round. So if you're looking at an offensive tackle there, at 5 or 4 or 5, or a defensive tackle, somebody like that, versus a good running back that you can get later on, I think you go with the lineman first.
Well, and the follow-up would be, well, everyone mocks him, Genty, that is, going 6 to the Raiders and nobody bats an eye, or 10 to the Bears. You actually, though, wrote in your notes column today, I believe it was, that be on the lookout potentially for Armand Membo to the Raiders. What are you hearing about the 6th pick?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I was speaking with somebody yesterday, and we were talking about Ashton Genty, and they said, watch Armand Membo, because Spytek, the new general manager of the Raiders, who comes from Tampa Bay, remembers the tremendous success they had with Tristan Wirfs. And when we talked about how much input he's going to have, is Pete Carroll going to make the final decision? And then I said, well, if that's true, you got to consider Jacksonville for Armand Membo. I mean, with Lee and Cohn there. And they said, absolutely. They said, Membo's going to go a lot earlier than people think. And they think the sweet spot for Membo is potentially 4, 5, 6, or 7. So, there's a possibility that any of those teams, if Membo's available, one of them being the Jacksonville Jaguars, could take Membo, and then which means that Genti would likely fall to 10 to the Chicago Bears.
If you are a betting man, Tony, I don't know if you are, but if you were, who's the better bet to go first, Will Campbell or Armand Membo?
Well, again, I think Campbell will be first because he's more the pure left tackle, which is what the New England Patriots really need. Membo is a tremendously athletic right tackle who's a projection to left tackle. Some people feel he can play left tackle. But, there's a lot of thought, people I talk to more and more, that Armand Membo could be the first offensive tackle. Right now, where we sit a week and a day out from the draft, I'm going to say it's Will Campbell, but I got to put an asterisk there.
Gotcha.
Have you heard anything about what the Saints want to do at quarterback with the news earlier this week regarding Derek Carr?
Well, I don't know that there's been any final assessment on Carr for 2025. And I know there's been a lot of projection. Well, now they got to take a quarterback at 9. And people I've talked to, and I feel the same way, is no quarterback at 9 is going to really help the New Orleans Saints in 2025, whether it be Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart. If Derek Carr can't play and you're starting one of those two guys, underneath center right away, it's not going to help your immediate your season in 2025. You draft those guys because you feel 2 or 3 years down the road they're going to be your starting quarterback. It would be foolish for them to change their draft plans just to get a quarterback because of the Derek Carr situation, rather than trying to maybe trade for a veteran. Aiden O'Connell's name has been thrown out there. I know they'd like to probably, if Carr can't play, they'd love to trade for Kirk Cousins, but the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to trade within the division. But again, we have to get a final word on Carr.
Do you think, what's your feel for how many teams might actually like Jackson Dart more than Sanders, or is that overblown?
No, I don't think it's overblown, but I think there are some teams that like Dart over Sanders. He's clean, he's big, he's a pocket passer. You don't have to, you don't have to deal. He doesn't have a father that's going to be in the media 24/7. And the fact is this: let's put all that aside. Jackson Dart has shown a lot of progress in his game the past 3 years. There's no doubt about it. Where Shedeur Sanders on the field, I don't think he's made much progress from 2023 to 2024. In fact, I think he regressed in certain areas.
There was a lot of talk early on in the draft process this year, Tony, about Will Johnson potentially even ultimately landing in Jacksonville at corner for this team. He had his pro day workout earlier this week. Has he moved up in the league's mind after the pro day workout this week?
Not that I've heard, and I was one of those people who early on mocked Will Johnson to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It seemed like a perfect fit. The problem with, even the workout aside, he had the injury, he had the turf toe injury. He also did not play well when he was on the field. He was playing more backed off the line of scrimmage. He was giving up a lot of underneath receptions. So I think what's going to happen is the teams are going to talk to Wink Martindale and the Michigan coaches to find out what happened. Was it a schematic thing? Did Will Johnson just mail it in? Was it a situation where it was an injury? If Will Johnson can get back to where he was in 2022 and 2023, he is an absolute steal outside the top 7 picks. We'll see what happens.
Tony Pauline, sportskeeda.com, here with us for a couple more minutes. Tony, I found this interesting this morning. My perception of the top 2 tight ends is that Tyler Warren is more the rugged inline. He can give you help in the passing game as well, but he's more the two-way tight end. And Colston Loveland is a little bit more finesse is such a negative word sometimes, but more of the pass-catching specialist, not as down in the trenches dirty as Warren can be. Yet I saw Matt Miller of ESPN, who we have a lot of respect for as well, say today he thinks Colston Loveland is actually the better blocker than Tyler Warren. For the Jags, who moved on from a move tight end type in Evan Ingram, if they were to go tight end, let's say they move back to 9 or 10, who would be the better option, better fit for Jacksonville among those 2 players?
So first thing is, I don't agree at all that Colston Loveland's a better blocker than Tyler Ward. Not at all. He really wasn't asked to do it. I agree with your assessment. And I think the easier way to say it is Colston Loveland is more Brock Bowers than Tyler Warren is Brock Bowers. So if you're looking for the move tight end, the guy to get down the field and make big plays, that's Colston Loveland. He's more the natural pass catcher. He's the faster on the field. We never saw him run the 40. We didn't see Tyler Warner do anything, any testing either before the draft. But he's more the natural pass catcher. Now, Warren, like Will Johnson, had an injury this season, which limited his play, and he wasn't very effective. So with Loveland, you're more going back on the 2023 film rather than what you saw in 2024. There are a lot of teams that have Loveland graded ahead of Warren. I have Loveland graded ahead of Warren. I think the appeal for Warren is what you just mentioned, plus he's going to give you earlier returns. If you want a week one starter at the tight end position from this draft, you're going to select Tyler Warren. Colston Loveland's got the shoulder injury. It's an AC joint. I'm not a doctor, but the medical examiners, the team doctors will look at that differently and come to different diagnoses. And that remains to be seen. But, if you want the pass catcher, the down the field guy, you're going with Colston Loveland. Warren is a solid blocker. I think Warren is more the flavor of the day. People see the highlight films. 14 receptions in the game against USC, even though I believe that Drew Allard, the quarterback, was targeting him to his detriment because there were other receivers wide open all over the field. I agree with your assessment. If you want that day one starter that is, a traditional tight end, can block and can pass catch as a solid short and intermediate pass catcher, you're looking Tyler Warren.
Tony, looking at a couple of wide receivers that are expected to go in the second or third round, Jaden Higgins versus Jack Bush. What is your opinion on both of those guys, and what would your argument be for each of them?
I think that Higgins has got a lot more upside than Besh. I mean, Besh had a tremendous season, great story, overcame a lot, catches everything that's thrown in his direction, as does Jaden Higgins, who's 6'4", as opposed to 6'1.5", which is what Besh is, 214 pounds, and by the way, ran 4.47 at the combine. I just like Hayden's upside better, and if teams can get him to run, coach him to run to his 40 time, you're going to have an outstanding pass catcher, outstanding receiver on your hands.
Tony, I'm not sure if I've asked you specifically about Terrence Ferguson, the Oregon tight end, but describe his play style and where he fits in the NFL offense.
A lot like Tyler Warren. I mean, he's a good pass catcher, but he's not a downfield threat, even though he ran a 4.63 at the combine. Doesn't play like that. He's a nasty blocker. He's a real good blocker. He's more your traditional tight end. So if you want that sort of tight end, third round area, you're looking at Terrence Ferguson, but he's not the downfield Colston Loveland, Elijah Warren, or Rondé Gatson type of player at the position.
You mentioned the depth at the running back position in this year's class. Who are some of your favorite running backs that could still be there even deep into day three potentially this year?
Well, in the day three, I'll say LaQuint Allen of Syracuse, a pounder on the inside, even though he's 205 pounds, a terrific downhill runner, and an outstanding pass catcher in the backfield. Jarquez Hunter, a little bit different, more from Auburn, more of your speedier running back, hits the hole, can run to daylight and hit the home run. Jaquavius Marks, real good in all areas of the game. Has the size to run on the inside, the agility to turn the corner, a real good pass catcher out of the backfield. And then the late round, there's going to be Ollie Gordon of Oklahoma State. Did not have the season that people thought after a tremendous campaign in 2023, but he's got decent size at 6'1.5", 226 pounds. He's also a real smart running back. Sees the field, reads the defense, consistently keeps the play in bounds. They're very aggressive and physical, doesn't finish plays by running out of bounds. And another guy who I really like is going to be a late-round pick, Kyle Manegi of Rutgers. Not a great tester, but just a tremendous football player.
All right. Well, I doubt he's a better football player than Tony Pauline is a football draft analyst, at least in my opinion. Tony, I don't know what your schedule will look like next week. Dylan will reach out, give you a couple options. If you got time, fantastic for a few last-minute thoughts. If you don't, We understand it's a busy time of year, but as always, appreciate your many visits. And at the very least, we'll be calling you to recap what the Jags are able to accomplish over the 3 days of the NFL draft. Want folks to give you a follow on Twitter at Tony Pauline, or just go to Sportskeeda, KEEDA.com, and you can read all of Tony's musings, including his 2-round mock from last week, all his practically daily notes columns on all the scuttlebuddies hearing about the NFL draft. All the best, Tony, until we talk again.
Thanks, fellas, and I will make time for you guys next week.
That's a good man right there. We appreciate you, brother. There he goes, Tony Pauline, right there at the peak, the pinnacle of draft analysis for us around these parts for sure. So we got to figure out now when we want him next week. Right? Yeah. It won't be Wednesday. Let's put it that way. Tuesday or Thursday kind of situation. Want to get the last minute scuttlebutt. We'll let Dylan worry about that. Let's come back, look at some of the mocks that people submitted, and today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. An interesting comment from one Pete Prisco as well out there on social media. Pete will be joining us on the program tomorrow. Put out a very un-Prisco-like tweet about 35 minutes ago, so we'll get to that before we get out of here today as well. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Tensions build.
3rd and 12. Let's go.
Plot thickens.
We got to get off the field.
Crowds roar. Tune in and let the show begin. Your home for live play-by-play is 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Interest rates have plummeted. It's time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here, and if you're looking to get cash out of your home equity, refinance out of a high rate, or do a home improvement project, Loan Pronto can make it happen in a matter of just days. Take advantage of this opportunity and get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off all your credit cards. Pay off your car loan. The average homeowner cuts their monthly bills by $1,000. Get more info at loanpronto.com. Inflation and higher costs have put a lot of people in a stressful financial situation, but if you own a home, there's a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks, and most don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on those credit cards. Wipe them all out. Get a lower mortgage rate. Get some money for that home improvement project. Do it all by going to loanpronto.com or call 904-999-1508. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is Corona Premier. It's the light beer you didn't know was a light beer. Until right. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now, Corona Premier, an unexpectedly light beer.
Corona Premier, a light beer with just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. The premier side of light. For those that are active and on the go, pick some up the next time you're heading out to enjoy the day under the sun. Corona Premier, an unexpectedly light beer.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
On Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, child care leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal Opportunity Employer.
jeweler. I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, I've heard you talk about the quality philosophy of Underwoods. Just what is that?
Frank, simply stated, the Underwood quality philosophy is fine jewelry and gifts will bring customers back and create new customers through the endorsements given to Underwoods by our satisfied customers. However, it's our definition of quality that's really been the Underwood difference, because quality has to go beyond materials and craftsmanship and has to include things like design, how it's presented, our service, our integrity, a customer's experience in our store, and the satisfaction a customer feels when they've chosen a special gift from Underwoods. A person or a company earns a reputation over a long period of time. And in Underwoods, we know that you earn your reputation every day, because that good reputation can be lost in a matter of days if you're not committed to doing the right thing for the long term.
That's Underwood, serving excellence in North Florida since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Listen to whatever you like, whenever you want.
I like this.
1010XL on demand. Ad-free shows after the live shows end. Shadowed by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 50% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, Pete Prisco, Tony, you may have heard of him, of CBS Sports. There's another. We're just going through the guest list we're going to try to have next week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pete's come make it. Pete might get squeezed on this whole thing. Look, Pete's on the franchise show every week. Yeah. We appreciate when Pete can join us here on Jaguars Today, and he will do that tomorrow. But like draft day, we're going to try to hear from everybody, right? Like all our regulars, right? We're going to have the in-house guys like Hayes and Frank, and we're going to have Demetrius Harvey and John Shipley and Mike DeRocco. At least invite all these folks to Jamal St. Cyr, all the folks who've been contributing to the program all throughout the draft process. Tony Pauline told us, hey, count on me. So going to try to have him on. And everyone just knock it out like 5-10 minutes, maybe except for Tony. He can have 10. He'll have the full 10 to 12 in case there's any last-minute scuttlebutt. But basically, all right, it's draft day. Who are they taking? Who do you want? Who are they taking? What are the odds they move up or down?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Simple. Everybody weighs in. A lot of draft analysts early in the week. We got the media mock draft on Wednesday. So it's going to be jam-packed for sure.
Busy week.
So Prisco tweets this out, Tone. I know you've seen it, but an hour ago now, it looks like. I don't like taking a running back in the first 10 picks. Shocker, Pete.
Yeah.
Who are you? That's Pete's philosophy. We know that. But Ashton Jeanty is special. Even so, it'd be tough to do because of position value and length of career. Then again, says the wishy-washy Pete Prisco, he would help quarterbacks like Drake May and Trevor Lawrence, and there are no slam dunk guys at 4 and 5. So, even the great Peter Prisco sees at least the path to going that direction, right? So Pete, by the way, Pete doing Pete things. He had some guy ranked ahead of Jared Wilson at center. He put out his best at every position ranking, and the guy said Jared Wilson's a tier above Monheim, I think is how you pronounce it. And Pete, as is Pete's want, you're entitled to your wrong opinion. That's Pete, man. So anyway, he'll join us tomorrow, break down a bunch of things Jaguar related. Today, we've got the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Jags can't move up, can't move back. They're picking at 5, and their options are on the table. Mason Graham, Jalen Walker, best offensive lineman available, Ashton Jeanty. What would you like the Jaguars to do in that scenario? Why don't we weigh in with today's 10-10 take?
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, Tony, do you get excited about eating your vegetables? I know you love tomatoes, but tomatoes are a fruit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no issue with vegetables.
No issue. I don't have issues with them either.
Right.
But
I get excited about what the sides
we're
are.
going out to eat, Tony. Where are we going? Are you more excited about the steak or the seafood or the broccoli?
The steak.
Okay, the steak. Right. It's something with sizzle. Yeah. Right. So to answer today's question, I'd be most excited about Ashton Jeanty because it's easy to get excited about a guy who's going to have the ball in his hands. Okay. That doesn't mean it's necessarily the best pick. I'd be fine with all these options. I'd question whether you got the most value taking Jalen Walker there without moving back, but you're stuck in this scenario. Given this scenario, I probably want the best offensive lineman available. Now, that's assuming the Jags feel like that guy is significantly better than one of the guys that he'd be replacing because you would have to have a path for him to replace one of those guys immediately on the football field. Otherwise, what are we doing at 5, right? Obviously, you take Jeanty, he's your starting tailback. Sorry, ETN. Sorry, Bigsby. Mason Graham goes into the starting lineup right away. Now, defensive tackles rotate, but that's the way it is. And Jalen Walker, the debate is, do you get enough out of him as an edge? Well, he would have to play stand-up linebacker on early downs. You're not just taking your third pass rusher rotational piece with the 5th pick. So any of these guys, they need a clear plan for. But, again, you want a foundational piece and how you want to play football and let this signal what the Jaguars are going to be all about. I think building through the trenches is the most logical thing. And if you got your chance potentially to get the best offensive lineman in the draft, and not necessarily in this scenario, it may be the best offensive lineman available. You might have your second choice, and they might not love him as much. But I'm going to assume that they have a close enough grade between Campbell or Membo that whomever is available to them that way, that's the direction I would vote for. What about yourself?
I would vote Mason Graham.
Okay.
And I've, been kind of at least 1 foot solidly in that camp for months now, at him being maybe even my preferred guy available for the Jags there at number 5. And I get it, and I get why it gets kind of dull to have Mason Graham and all these mock drafts landing with the Jags at number 5. But it is, we just had Tony Pauline on, and I asked him again, why does he make sense at 5? And I asked him, is he the best interior defensive lineman in this class? And he said, yeah. right? Like I ask those kind of questions to the guys that we have on, and they continue to reiterate those kinds of things. It solidifies it in my mind. And I get it. It sometimes isn't fun to just be the team that's swinging for the double, but you're picking fifth in a draft where there aren't a whole lot of home runs available, right? They're just not there.
Well, it depends on if you think Genty's the home run. Some people think he is.
I don't have an issue with Genty, but I don't get any more excited necessarily about Genty than I do Graham.
Okay.
Right? Like, I don't have a strong lean either way with those guys. It would be my two preferred options here on this poll today, but my lean would be towards Mason Graham.
Dylan Denmark, what say you?
That's me.
Yes. Hello, greetings.
I would lean Mason Graham.
Yeah?
Slightly Mason Graham, just over the best offensive lineman, which would probably be Armand Membo, I would say.
Okay. Their poll so far, 300 votes in, 42% agree with you guys, Mason Graham. 25% want Genty, and I think they're the ones who are the most adamant about their selection based on some of the responses we got. Best offensive lineman available pulling 18.5%, and edge Jalen Walker pulling 14% of the votes. Some of the replies. Scott says, best offensive line for me, the Jags and Trevor Lawrence need a running game, and for me that starts up front. Fair enough. Gray says Graham is not going to move the needle, but the running back can. Our running back room needs a bruiser. Let's see. George said this is the way, and just put a screenshot of Ashton Genty up there. Okay. Let's see. Jason says Genty's production or Graham's 18 tackles for loss and 9 career sacks. If we were all told we could get MJD back on this team, I'm certain we'd be all for it. Even at number 1 overall. Maybe. I mean, I hate to say, I love MJD. If you're taking Genty at 5, you better be damn well better than MJD. I mean, you're not taking him to give me another good guy and make a few pro. No, you're talking about, you're taking him because you think he's, borderline Hall of Fame level. That's the kind of running back you should be looking for. Terrence, got to take Genty. 3 clear blue chippers in this draft, and he's one of them along with Hunter and Carter. Bush Drive Rich, only playmaker available, Ashton Genty. Joaquin said 1A, best O lineman, 1B, Mason Graham. And Aunt Tifa, good old Aunt Tifa, if you want anything other than a defensive tackle or offensive line, you're tripping, Tony. Okay, thank you, Aunt Tifa. Appreciate that. All right, that will wrap it up.
You're not going to read Jamarcus's response?
Oh, did I not get to? Oh, Jamarcus. Can I say this? Can I say this? What do you think?
I got a double ready.
No? All right. If you want Jalen Walker, your mom's up. Blank. Go read my timeline and find out for yourself. Okay. I think it's a garden tool is what he's referring. Your mom's a garden tool if you want Jalen Walker. All right. I didn't get to the Jamarcus's, Tony. I'm glad you pointed that one out to me. All right. Let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
People out there, Mia, going, my mom's a rake. I don't understand. What are you talking? That doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway.
I thought she was a garden hose.
She might be a hose. I don't know.
Garden tool, is it not?
There are a lot of them. Let's just cut it right there. How are you today? Everything good?
I'm great. Oh, yeah. We got a lot cooking. I was excited to be joined on the Duval Rundown podcast. I'm filling in for Gus Logue while he's on vacation this week by ESPN's Jordan Reed. A lot of great insight there. So, yeah, we're starting the day off with a bang. Happy hump day, everybody.
Gus, it's draft time, buddy. Vacation after the draft. What are we doing here? Is he coming back? When's he coming back?
I don't know. Our friend Trevor Sikkema of of course, the PFF, but the PFF Stock Exchange podcast, he pointed out last week that he does enjoy taking the vacation like 3 or 4 weeks before the draft. I don't know about the week before the draft. I did do that last year, so I shouldn't talk. But at the same time, I do get that. I do get that, hey, a little calm before the madness.
Yeah, Tony and I are like the believers of go as deep into the year as you can without needing to take vacation and then go crazy on it. And then that's been our philosophy. Anyway, what's coming up in addition? What else are you getting into today?
You'll hear not only from Jordan Reed, but of course Liam Cohen, James Gladstone. We're leading off with what are the 6 positions the Jaguars are taking with those picks in the first 4 rounds, because of course they have a second, third, and a second, fourth because of the trade back with the Minnesota Vikings last year.
All right, I got 2 edge, 2 D tackles, and a offensive tackle and a center. How's that?
Hey, listen.
Is that fair?
I don't know if it was Terrence or who said it on the Twitter, but that will appease them.
Some it will. I mean, that's a little over the top, but I do love Jared Wilson at pick 70 if he's sitting there. But a lot of ways they can go. I'm not going to be too upset unless they go completely crazy off the board. With something like I saw Matt Miller today. Tony Pauline vehemently disagreed, but Matt Miller said Colston Loveland's a better blocker than Tyler Warren.
Yeah, that's been kind of a talking piece, I think, the last few weeks.
Which is weird because of all this whole process, Tyler Warren, the most rugged, the two-way tight end, the classic guy that this organization would be looking for.
Colston Loveland also was unavailable last year because he was hurt. That doesn't, necessarily translate to
neither one should be, I think, the pick at 5. But if you do get a trade back opportunity, that at least makes it interesting. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Have a great show.
Thank you.
There you go. Mia O'Brien with the crew coming your way. Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Helmets and Heels for the next couple of hours with a wonderful lineup of guests as well. Tomorrow, what do we got tomorrow? We got Prisco and we got Hayes tomorrow, too. We got Hayes Carline joining us tomorrow, the embedded reporter, Hayes Carline, the Hammer. All right, so continuing to break it down, we'll be 1 week out from the NFL draft. If you haven't voted in today's poll, go ahead and give a quick click over there at MD_1010XL. Otherwise, we're done for the day. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around for Helmets and Heels coming up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
There was a time where I had a narrow esophagus.
Jaguars Today.
For the